Now, while you were in prison, were there any yards that were general population, and then months later, maybe a year later, now that same yard is an SNY yard?
Yep.
And why does that happen?
Yeah. Um, I don't know. To be honest, I would say probably just population control. Maybe one side's getting more populated than the other.
Where have you seen this happen at?
Actually, when I was right there on B yard, I ended up getting into some stuff on B yard, and I ended up getting removed from B yard, and I ended up going to the back, kept it solid. If you guys want to hear the whole thing, I touch about it on my channel, or I don't know if you want to get into it. It's up to you.
Go ahead.
All right, so pretty much when I was right there on B yard, there was a homie on Seco from bowling. He landed there, and he ended up pretty much taking over the yard. And he ended up removing the homie Chango from Northside Bowling over some bullshit. There was somebody getting boo-bopped in the top shower. Boop, boop, boop. The Judas heard. Homeboy had a fierro, so he tried to run to the homie Chango, which was a lifer, on the 3 strikes. He had 2 strikes, and then he got pulled over with a gun and dope. They gave him his 3rd strike. So he knew he had action at going home. So he denied him. He like, nah, like, go somewhere else. So he used that as an excuse to remove the homie. So when he removed the homie, he had the homie snatch his chain, because he owed money. He was trying to like, hey, I'm gonna remove him, and I'm also gonna take his chain to pay his drug debt. So he ended up having him removed, did all that, and then once the homie Chango ended up making it an issue, then he tried to say that I'm the one that took homeboy's chain, and before I even got a chance to like speak my piece, he moved on me himself. He ended up taking flight on me, and he convinced my bunkie to go with him. So him and my bunkie flighted me, pretty much. So I ended up going to the hole. I signed whatever I need to sign to go back. They didn't end up sending me back to B yard, but they sent me to F yard, which was a GP yard. So I get to F yard, pretty much explain myself, you know what I mean? I get there, I got a big old black eye. So I'm running into people that I know from other prisons, and they're all looking at me like, what the fuck? Like, what happened? What happened? So I had a lot of people that knew me, that knew my character, and they spoke up for me. You know what I mean? And I want to give a special shout out to the homie Wedo from Loonies, because he's one of the people that actually spoke up and cleared that situation for me. So then I ended up, to clean that up, I ended up going on a mission. They ended up calling on my name. They asked me for a favor. Shout out to homie Zach from Colonia Bakers. He went on the mission with me. We ended up removing somebody, and I went to the back. I went to the back for like a week, in the cages, working out in the dog kennels, yard, all that. Right to the homies like, hey, look, this, and this, because when I got removed, they went to ASU, and I guess ASU was overpopulated, so they sent me to Building E, which is an overflow hole. So I didn't get a chance to check in ASU and let the homies know, like, hey, this is my side or whatever. So when they asked me to do that mission, I was like, yeah, not only because of the way I landed on that yard, but also because I wanted to go clear my name, make sure that my name was cleared, you know, by myself in the back. So I go to the back, right to the homies, say, look, this happened, this. I end up clearing it up, and they end up kicking me back out to F yard. So once I get to F yard, a couple months go by, the homie Thumper from Artesia ends up moving me with him. I go to his cell, and as we're cellies, they end up raiding the cell, and they find the phone. They're getting him for it, and all of it. He ended up calling me as a witness to his 115 hearing. So the reason he called me as a witness is because he had a family visit coming up, and they had a lot of things in play to where we didn't want to mess up the family visit. So I was like, hey, you know what? Like, don't trip. Like I said, at that time I didn't have kids, nothing. It was just me. Hey, I'll take that. Like, what? That's 90 days you can't get back. Who's gonna take 3 months for somebody? You know what I mean? But that was the boy, and he kind of spoke up for me too during that situation. So I was like, hey, I got you. Call me as your witness. I'm gonna tell him it's mine. Calls me as his witness. I go and I tell him like, hey, whatever you guys found, that's mine. They put it on me, so that 90 days for me going on a mission. Another 90 days for me taking that phone rap. Couple more months go by. Some kush lands on the yard. I buy a 50 ball. I'm in the cell. Roll up a little joint. Roll up a little stick. Right there smoking it with the homie B from Reseda. Shout out the homie B from Reseda. So I'm right there smoking with the homie B. And I guess it was so loud that the Hudas smelt it. Because not even halfway through the joint, you just hear, like, what the fuck? We look, fucking Hudas running up the fucking stairs. Boom, kick the door open. Like, oh. I remember I just had what was left of the 50 ball right here in my waist. I grab it, throw it in my mouth real quick. Boom. Trying to swallow it. Swallowed it. They get us. They search everything. They didn't find nothing. So the next day in the morning, well, they didn't find nothing. They took my TV. They took everything, all my appliances, because it was all floaters. I had bought it off the tier. None of it was like legit through my name. So they took everything. I want to say like at least $300 worth of appliances. Took everything. And then he tried to get me to pee in a bottle. He gave me the bottle. He was talking to the homie B. I got some water real quick in my mouth. Turned around. I spit it in the bottle. I'm like, hey, here, I peed. He looks at me. No. You're supposed to do it in front of me. No. Like, hey, I peed already. Like, hey, I don't know what to tell you. I peed already. I can't piss no more. Yeah. So he ends up calling me in the morning. Early in the morning. They're like, Garcia, report to the program office. Like, fuck. I go and I see the homie B right there too. He hit us with a bottle. So I ended up getting a dirty drug test. So those three is what made my points to rise and to go to Centinela. But to answer your question, as far as seeing a yard flip, before I left to Centinela, F yard ended up getting flipped. So little by little, they started shipping everybody out. And what they did is they had us on lockdown. And little by little, they would just started filling up all the other buildings to where now they had 2 buildings and we only had 1. But not once did they ever intermix us or nothing. We were just on lockdown the whole time.